Hello and welcome to the Writer's Desk. My name is Lisa Soland and it's my pleasure today to be sitting next to
I forgot my name.
a very, I don't want to say old friend, a friend that's been my friend a long time.
Someone who has known you since I was a child and you were my babysitter.
Oh, really?
You started it.
No, I don't want that.
Okay.
I have known this fellow for quite some time.
Yes, 1996 or 96, I think. I think it was 96.
Wow, that is a while. So that's 14 years.
I was 12.
He was 12, I was an infant, and we became fast friends. The thing we had in common was we were both graduates from Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that connected us. And we've been friends pretty much ever since with writer, producer, Stephen L. Sears.
I'm pausing for applause.
Yeah,
I know the cheering is going.
We're in the beautiful town of Studio City, California.
Yes.
We both started out in show business as actors.
Oh, that. Yes.
Tell me about that morphing from actor into writer.
Well, I did start out with the idea of being an actor. I've been, my first professional stage appearance was when I was about 12 or 13. And I only say professional because I was paid for it. It was in the state play of Florida, Cross and Sword, which is in St. Augustine, Florida. That's my hometown. And until then, I'd just been doing some minor things at school. That's about it, skits. But I enjoyed performing. And when I graduated high school, after also being in the drama department and doing a lot of school productions, I went to the University of Florida, obviously with that kind of a background in theater, pre-med. But after Chem 101 kind of knocked me into liberal arts, I started to reconsider what I wanted to do. But anyway, I got a degree in theater and moved out to Los Angeles to pursue a career
in acting.
Yes. In the process of doing that, I got to meet a lot of casting directors and, pretty good relationship with them. We became friendly, and I was able to ask them whatever questions I want. The one question I asked a lot of them was what they liked to see, because casting directors sit there and see so many people doing the same scenes over and over again. How do you sustain your interest after an entire day of that? And all of them said, well, we're tired of seeing Shakespeare or Neil Simon repeated over and over again. We want to see original material. So I thought, well, why don't I start writing my own original material? So I started writing little 3-page scenes to be done for auditions. After a while...
By you in the beginning, right?
Done by me, yeah.
Yes.
Done specifically by me.
Mm-hmm.
But, of course, they involved other actors. And after a while, I started to find out that, and actually see, my scenes were being done by other actors at showcases. And which was very flattering at the time. So I was auditioning in front of one casting director as part of a showcase. And there were 5 scenes in that showcase that I had written. And I didn't even know about the other 4. I know, it's kind of surprised me, because afterwards, I didn't know about it until I sat down to talk with her, and she asked me if I'd written all of them. And I said, yes, I wrote them, and she said, you should think about writing. So at first I said no, because it's a lot of typing, and I never planned to be a writer. I've never studied that. But then I thought, who's going to know? I'll just write up a little script for myself. That's all, just to see if I enjoy it. And I did write it, and it was a horrible script, but I loved it. I was able to play all the characters in my head. I was able to do all the setups, the story arcs, everything. I loved it.
Was it for a television show?
It was a spec script for Benson, if you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny because that's a sitcom, and I didn't end up in sitcoms. And it was really horrible. I'm not denying that. It was a bad script. I even showed it to the father of one of the actors in Benson, Missy Gold. I showed it to her father, Harry Gold, because he was my acting agent at the time. And Harry, love him to death. But I do remember to this day, after he read the script, he said, Steve, stick to acting. You just don't have it as a writer. Of course, I ignored that and just thought I would try to write another one and then write another one. And there's a longer version of this, but the bottom line is 1 year from that first script that I ever wrote, I was working with Stephen Cannell Productions. I had my own office. I was writing with a friend of mine, a partner, Bert Pearl. And we started out on a show called Riptide, and then we wrote for the A-Team, for Hardcastle McCormick, Stingray, J.J. Starbuck. Actually, it's kind of cool when I can't remember everything on my resume.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. What else have I done? Hardball, Jesse Hawk, Swamp Thing, Superboy. I was a co-exec producer and writer on Xena. A lot of people remember that.
Yes, absolutely. And then you went to Florida and did Sheena.
Yes, after Xena, I co-created the series Sheena. Sheena, you see a pattern. And we shot that in Orlando, Florida.
What would be next after that?
Belima.
Belima.
Belima,
Okay,
very strange
but that's
character.
the serious drama.
No, that's a superhero. Very strange powers. Yes.
Tell the story. I mean, because I'm now familiar with some of these stories of yours.
Yes. That's
tell
all you
us-
have to do is say, like, tell number 13. Oh, yes, that's right. I remember.
Talk about the moment where you were asked to write the very breakthrough, when you got your first check as a writer. Now, you were a struggling actor in town. Were you waiting tables?
Well, yeah, that's an entry-level position as far as the industry.
It was for me.
I was waiting tables at a restaurant called Womphoppers. A lot of people there were all actors and singers and whatever.
I worked at Womphopper's. That was my first waitress job.
Really? When? This is the discovery process.
I won't say the year, but I think it was...
Well, I can tell you the year, because
No.
I know when I was working there, and I know when it opened, and I started...
And you know when it closed and turned into...
That's right, and I know you didn't work there after.
No, I worked when it was Womphopper's.
Okay, you worked there. Were you wearing...
But don't you find that's another thing we have in common?
Were you wearing the green shirt? This is significant. Were you wearing the green shirt, or were you wearing the red vest type of shirt?
I started out as a busboy.
Okay, so you're wearing a red shirt.
And then I was hired to be a DJ. And then I went back to cocktail waitressing. And I don't remember what I wore.
That might have actually been after me.
Yeah, I think it was after.
Yeah, because we never had a DJ when I was there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Oh,
I don't think I...
They're still here.
Oh.
Go figure. Yeah,
so you're waiting tables at Womphopper's.
At Womphopper's. And Womphopper's, yes, I was working at Womphopper's. And Womphopper's was an environment that encouraged the entertainment. People who worked... It was an extension of the Universal Tour. And we could do anything that the people wanted us to. We could dance on the table if they wanted. We would sing. We would be sarcastic and make jokes, and everybody loved it. So I was working there, and that's where I met Bert Pearl. And Bert and I just hit it off immediately. We became best friends. This is something for a lot of anybody in any artistic career, and I think especially writers, because we're so solid. We're loners. We're hermits. We're solitude. Never be afraid to just do something. And I made a phone call. What you'll hear in Hollywood a lot is that it's who you know that, if you don't know anybody, you don't get into the business. It's who you know that counts. The truth of the matter is, that may be accurate, but it's up to you to get to know people.
Yes.
You have to get out there.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of writers, they tend to sit at home and what's the old adage is, writing consists of staring at a blank page waiting for the phone to ring.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did is there was this brand new TV show called Riptide. I'd just seen the pilot, and I thought it would be interesting to find out if they had a writer's guide. So I just called directly to the office. I just got the office number. I didn't have any direct line or anything. I got a receptionist who passed me on to a secretary. And I asked if they had a writer's guide, and she said, well, no, we don't. We just started up. But do you like the show? And I went, oh, yeah, I love the show. And we just started this great conversation, just chatting. And then finally, after this conversation, she said, have you written any scripts? And I said, well, my writing partner and I have like 5 spec scripts we've written. And she said, well, I know the producers are looking for freelance writers. So why don't you have your agent send 2 examples of your work over to the offices? Now, keep in mind, she wasn't giving us an in. She wasn't saying, I'll take it in there for you. She just gave us the information.
Mm-hmm.
So we had an agent, kind of. It was a hip pocket deal, which basically means if you find a job, they will negotiate it and take the 10%, but they're not going to go look for work. So we called this guy, and we asked him if he would submit the scripts. So he did. A few months later, actually about a month and a half later, we got a call from the offices at Riptide from Tom Blomquist, who was the story editor at the time. And he said, we want you to come in and, we want to meet you. So Bert and I were thrilled. Now, keep in mind, we'd never had a professional meeting. At best, we'd had 1 meeting with a professional, but we'd never had a professional meeting about possibly getting an assignment. So we go into this meeting, and we meet Tom, and we meet the executive producer of the series, Babs Grayhowski, whose lovely house we're in right now. We just hit it off. We spent a couple of hours, or at least it felt like a couple of hours, just laughing and kidding around and talking about things. We just all really hit it off.